Hi, I'm Rebecca. I am the Route 66 Stitcher. This is Floss tube number 5 for me, and it is Sunday, January 9th. So either the end of the first week of January or the beginning of the second week of January, depending on how you view Sundays in your life. I hope everybody had a restful and calm and safe and healthy New Year's, and let's get started with 2021. Don't have much to show you today, just kind of catching up with some of the things I have finished, but I've been on vacation for the holiday break, and I had booked in a 3-week trip in Portugal for the end of March, beginning of April of 2020, which was canceled. And at that point, I immediately rebooked it for the holiday break for January of 2020, which was canceled. And at that point, I was like, screw it. You know something? Vaccine's coming. I'm going to give it a year. I'm going to rebook this for December of 2021. And everything will be back to, or at least in a new normal. Countries will be open. This whole thing will be nothing but PTSD nightmare that's behind us. And we all know how that's played out. Portugal to become a level 4, do not go, CDC recommendation, probably about a week and a half before we left because of Omicron. And Portugal had they had reopened a lot of their borders, but had been really conservative during the pandemic, and it just recently started to reopen. And they didn't disallow tourist traffic or unessential travel, but had reinstituted mandatory mask, indoor and outdoor, and mandatory COVID testing every 48 hours to enter restaurants, theaters, museums, metro, public transportation, any of those things. Actually, I have to say, it was absolutely amazing. We tested every 48 hours. It cost us nothing. The government had little testing booths set up all over the place. You just downloaded the app on your phone. You dinked into the center. They scrambled your brains a little bit with the little sticks, and about half an hour later, you would get the results to your app. And then it was a QR code that you would just dink in and out of all the restaurants and all the places that you were going. And it had a countdown clock on it. Told you how much time was remaining, and when you were close to it running out, you just went back to whatever center you just happened to find when you were walking around. It was actually a pretty seamless and amazing approach to COVID testing. So, and again, completely free. Government actually gives out N95s. We were in KN95s the entire time, as were most of the people on the street. They had a mandatory, it was illegal to drink after 6 p.m. in the streets or outside on December 30th and December 31st. So they were trying to cut down on street parties for New Year's. But other than that, there really wasn't anything that was shut down. Everything was up and running. So it was a great trip. Got there, got back completely COVID-free. So there you go. Anywho, that was my holiday break. And moving forward, quite honestly, my cats, it's been a hard transition coming back. I always do better with time changes going over, like most people, and it's always harder coming back. My body is still I've been back for about 5 days. Body's still kind of trying to figure out what time zone I'm in. And my cats just finally forgave me yesterday. So I'm not looking at the butt anymore. I actually do get to look at the head and actually scratch the head. So I've been forgiven by the cats, which is a huge, huge step forward in the household. Anywho, on to what I have finished, not fully finished it, but actually have stitched it again. This is the Ink Circles 2 Birds in a Hand that I had completed previously. This was a round robin kit that I got at Needlework Galleria, and I had completely stitched it, and then I'd ironed it, and I didn't realize that I had the steam on, and the floss is really, really, yeah, not waterproof. Certainly not color fast in any way, shape, or form. It was a mess. So I had to completely restitch it, and had just enough of the kit floss to redo that. I'd actually went back and grabbed some of that, went through my quart jar, and actually managed to complete all of this with the original floss. If I ruin this, all bets are off. I'm probably not even going to bother trying. And this is the one that came with the amazingly cute fabric to finish up in the little pillow. Again, I'm not going to have enough floss to be able to do these herringbone stitches as recommended by the designer, but I did find in my that Cottage Gardens thread kit that I bought all of, I found a color that might be close, might work. So I think, given the fact that it's not actually on the stitching itself, but actually on the side, I think it's going to be just fine. So I'm going to be finishing that up soon. So that's one of them that I have finished. I'll show you something else that I finished that I've been working on. And only working on it since I returned home. You may or may not know, I have been doing the Peppermint Purple, Claire's Blackwork, year of Blackwork SALs for a couple years now, and this was my 2020 version. This was the year that I found Blackwork, and this was the year we stayed home. Please scream inside your heart, the 2020 SAL. And I had started the 2021 SAL and had gotten nowheres on it. I think when I finally picked it up towards the end of the year, I had done 2 weeks in January, and I put and started effort into it, and I did finish 2020. And I used the 2 words that kind of came to describe my life. Used the same exact border. Got the 2021 down there, but the exact same border. I have mixed feelings about the floss, the variegated floss that I used. I think that going back and doing it again, which I'm not going to, I probably would have chosen a different variegation that had a little bit more punch. Some of the silver parts of this are really, I can see them in person. They stand out quite well in person, but they really don't play well on camera. And then this dark red block right there that I did in metallics, that is the week that I turned 60. So, and that's my cat that you hear screaming in the background, because she's decided that she really wants to be with me now that she's forgiven me. And you don't really want her with me while I do this, because that would be, yes, quite the distraction. And so I have actually started. I finished the 2021, after I got back, I finished that on, I want to say January 5th or 6th. Actually stitched the last box into that because I didn't take it with me. And I started 2022. And I got all of the boxes done. I'm using a different shape for this. And Claire this year has made all of the boxes the same size. So you can choose where you want to put, she's made suggestions about where to put. I have not chosen her suggestion so far. I've just started at the top when she started in the middle this week. She's also sorry about that. That autofocus is just being kind of a disaster, isn't it? So that's it. This is also a Mystic fabric. This was, I want to say this is Descent. Although it looks a little too blue for Descent. This was a freebie that I got in the linen grab bag. It was buy 3, get 1 free kind of a thing, and this was the freebie. And I do apologize, I've obviously dropped my iron one time too many, and it doesn't get really hot anymore, so there's a lot of wrinkles. So I have started 2022. I'm going to use the same border for this. I'm going to adapt it to the shape, but use the same border. And I'm doing this with just basic 902 DMC this year. So nothing fancy this year. So that's where I am with the Peppermint Purple SAL. This year's going to be fun. She's offering 2 choices each week for the rectangle, and one of them is blackwork only, and one of them is blackwork with cross stitch. And so if the one with cross stitch speaks to me, that's what I'm going to be putting in. And if the one with black stitch only, then that's what I'm going to use. So it's actually just an additional way to be able to customize your stitching this year. I think she's done a really good job with that. What else have I been working on? Well, I've been working quite a bit on the Peaceful Pondering. And again, this is a Biscornu from Meridian Designs that was one of the round robin kits from Needlework Galleria, and came with all of the floss. I had completed the top with the exception of all the beading and back stitching, and I have started the bottom, and that's not a smudge. That's actually just some bigger holes. I had started stitching there and was off by a row, so I'd tear it all out, so that'll be covered up. But yeah, so it's coming along, and that's going to be a focus to get this done. I'm not too far off of finishing this with just a little bit of emphasis on it. And what else have I worked on? I have worked some more on the Plum Street samplers, Bigfoot Bunch, Paulette Stewart, and I have finished the majority of the foliage and flowers. So at this point, all I really do have to do is go back in and put in Bigfoot and Mama Bigfoot and the baby Bigfoot, and of course the little bee. But yeah, this is really close to being finished as well. Really close. So that's also going to be a push this month to get that out of the way. And then something I found in my bad project closet. It's interesting what I always find at the back of the bad project closet. I had started this and I ended up shoving it in the back of the closet because, again, it's the kind of stitch that I don't like doing, but for some reason I just can't stop buying these types of patterns. And I'm going to put it right here. No, here. No. Henri the hippo. Put it there. And this is from Stitchrovia, and this is Northern Lights. And here. And this is on Mystic Fabrics Galaxy. And this is actually an Ada. It's one of the very, very few Adas that I own. And I did another 10 rows. So from the middle of this kind of tree silhouette to this side, tree silhouette to this side, I did those rows. I'm doing these vertically by row because it just actually is going to be easier than trying to do it horizontally for me. So that's what I've got done. I got another 10 rows of that done. And it's going to be another one like the Plague Doctor that I think I'm going to love it when I'm done with it. I'm just not really enjoying the stitch. So it's going to be a long one. Yeah, this is absolutely, again, this is Mystic Fabrics Galaxy. Beautiful fabric from Misty. So, and all DMC, all the call for DMC. And this is actually the first pattern that I bought on Etsy, and it's a digital pattern, of course, but it was the first pattern that I got that actually had a tablet or iPhone or compatible pattern where it was all on one page, and it was a life changer for me. I actually look for that specifically now because that was just life changing for me. And so that's it. That's all I've worked on since I've been back. I do have a few things, very few things to show you, quite honestly, in terms of stash. I did buy some fabric. I use the term loosely. I was in Portugal. Yeah, Bom Jesus in Braga, actually. Okay, I didn't climb up the steps, I climbed down the steps. Okay. So I got these, these were €1 each, and they're an odd size. They're not a size that I would call a kitchen towel or a placemat. They're just a weird size. So I bought these, and I figured I can make project bag or back of a pillow or something out of those. And I also found in Porto, I found a yarn shop, for a better way to describe what it was. And I picked up a Portuguese pearl cotton, Palmaria. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Palmaria or used it. This is number 12 pearl, which I can use for hardinger and punch needle. And I just wanted to give it a try and support a little local shop over there. It's a beautiful, and again, I don't crochet or knit, so had no use really for the yarn, and I don't really know anybody that crochets or knits, so I didn't buy any, but I did pick up some pearl cotton that I could use. I did find in a little artisan shop, it amazes me, it's so European, right? They put everything in little itty bitty bags. Everything you buy goes into its own little itty bitty bag with a little snowflake stamp on it. And this is a little artisan shop that was in Lisbon, and it was one of those stores where artisans, all different types of crafts were in the store, and it not like an antique mall or anything where you buy the booth, but the entire store was, this wall was this jewelry designer, and this wall was this woodworker and things like that. I did find some really pretty ceramic buttons, all handmade, in this like big old basket next to the cash register. This was kind of an impulse buy. They were, I don't know, 0.75 euros, so maybe $1 a piece. So I picked up 6 of them, figuring I'll do something with them. Maybe they'll go on the project bags. Maybe they'll go on the Portugal project bags. I don't know. And then also in the same store, I found a hand-made laying tool. And since I've been using my trusty meat thermometer as a laying tool and corner pokey outy thing, which has worked well in my life because I don't need a laying tool often, but when I do, it's worked well for me. But I found a handmade one in that artisan store, and so I picked it up. And again, I don't know anybody that knits. They had some beautiful handmade knitting needles and the bowls where you put the yarn that's got the little slot so your yarn doesn't roll away on you. I mean, just really, really, really pretty things. And then the only other thing I've gotten since the last time we talked was my monthly Fiberlicious fiber silks from the Christmas bunch. Wow, it did get dark out all of a sudden. We just got some cloud covers. Apologies. They're not quite, in fact, that green, there we go, that green is the most beautiful green ever seen. And the teal's pretty. They're all just very pretty. And that's pretty much all I have besides the complaining cat. Going on. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Thanks for stopping back by if you've been here before, or thanks for checking me out if this is your first time. I do appreciate it, and I look forward to talking and chatting with you the next time. Bye.